Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's official prices. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so here we are. We've got some big characters coming out this week, and let's take a look at those official prices. And I don't think anything is too surprising here. Spoiler alert, everything kind of coming in line with Games Workshop's regular prices and what we would expect. So first we have Lionel Jonson, and right in line with Guilliman, the other of the Loyalist Primarchs, we see Lionel Jonson coming in at $70 USD. So 70 bucks for the Lion. He is a big model. He is a chunky model and very, very beautiful. And for 70 bucks, I think he's still a good deal. If you take a look at Games Workshop's kind of like pricing model and how they figure out what characters versus like individual squads are supposed to be cost or be worth, Primarchs are actually a really good deal. I think he comes in somewhere close to 400 points. Maybe like 390. So for 390 points to be able to get him for 70 bucks is absolutely amazing, because something like a 10-man unit is going to come in at about 200 in points and about $60 to $65. So getting about 400 points for the Lion as opposed to 200 points for like a regular squad, whether it's a 10-man regular squad or like 5 Terminators, etc., you're basically getting twice the points for the same price. So whenever it comes to these big centerpiece models, the amount of detail, the amount of work that goes into them, and just the level that they elevate your army, 70 bucks. Sure, it's a lot for one guy, but he's bringing his 2 buddies to the battle too. So absolutely awesome miniature. I know a lot of people have missed out on him the first time, so very glad to be seeing him coming to the range, and hopefully they made plenty of him, because this is one of my favorite models of all times, and I suspect that he's going to be very, very popular at $70. So moving right along, next we have Boss Snikrot. So Boss Snikrot is a special character. The price on him is 40 bucks. He is a very, very cool model. Definitely awesome. I do think $40 is a little bit pricey for individual regular sized models, but I'm not surprised either, because that is basically the price that Games Workshop is moving up to for individual characters. So if you picked up the boarding patrol with Boss Snikrot in it, you no doubt got an awesome deal, and it did sell out very quickly. But now you have the opportunity to pick him up for 40 bucks, which again, not the best deal in the world. Obviously a little bit pricey, but Snikrot is an awesome model and he is a special character. So again, I think he'll be pretty popular at 40 bucks. And next we have Commander Farsight. So Commander Farsight is basically like the linchpin of Tau. Now, unlike most of the armies where you have like a special character, elevated, larger model, he actually has like some very specific restrictions. So with the lore and everything, Commander Farsight has his own enclave, and he is basically like a rebel enclave and doesn't follow the ethereals as the other Tau 2. So he's sort of like independent of their guidance. So there are some specific restrictions, but he is basically like the Primarch of the Tau, or like the Abaddon the Despoiler of Chaos, etc. So you would expect him to be priced accordingly. He is a larger model, obviously very, very beautiful model, absolutely awesome. And Farsight is actually coming in at $65. I was almost expecting them just to put him at 70 and kind of match those other larger models. So definitely a happy change to see him at 65. It's obviously not a huge deal. And to tell you the truth, it wasn't going to $5 one way or the other make or break this model. He is absolutely beautiful and definitely going to be a pleasure to paint. I can't wait to get a hold of a Farsight, get him all painted up. And at 65 bucks, I think compared to the old Farsight model, this thing is absolutely amazing and worth every single penny of it. And I think for me, one of the things about the big like linchpin kind of models is that they're the ones I would rather pay extra for, because they're so much cooler. And when you have somebody like Farsight or the Lion on the table, you could have 20 or 30 or 50 other models and nobody's really paying attention to them. All they care about is that one linchpin model, that Primarch, that Commander, etc. So for me, I would much rather have like really nice looking detailed models like the Farsight, like the brand new Lion Primarch. Put the extra time into them, put the extra money into them, and truly get the enjoyment out of them. So for me, when we see a brand new model like this, especially a special character, I think they're worth every penny of it. So very excited for Commander Farsight, and then obviously for the Lion as well. And I know a lot of people missed out on these models and were super disappointed. So I'm glad to see them making it almost immediately into 10th edition for the individual sale. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. And then next we have the hardback novel, Cypher, Lord of the Fallen. So this was previously only available in special edition and did sell out pretty quickly. So now we're seeing it come to hardback for $21 for Cypher, Lord of the Fallen. Cypher has always been cool kind of in the lore of the Dark Angels and everything, and always kind of shrouded in mystery. But I think this is pretty cool, especially with how they have kind of changed the lore or spun it with the Lion's Return, and he's going to reunite the Dark Angels and kind of get rid of their tarnished reputation. I think one thing that's so great about Warhammer that makes so many of us like loyal to the IP, to the game, etc., is just the depth of lore, just the amount of stories and everything that all tie together, and just decades of all of this stuff kind of being developed on and growing and just becoming more and more cool. And Cypher is kind of like at the heart of all that for the Dark Angels. So definitely looking forward to how the actual story develops between the Dark Angels and how they're sort of like able to reclaim their honor after the Fallen had basically like shrouded them in this sort of like dishonor and the kind of like taint of chaos. So very cool. Cypher, Lord of the Fallen in hardback, available for $21 USD. And next we have The Awakenings, and this is a paperback novel, and this is going to be coming out for $17.99. And you may have noticed that there's kind of a theme how they do this. First they'll put out like the actual special edition limited copy of a book, and then typically you see the hardback book come out somewhere in between the price, a little bit lower, and then finally you see the softcover book come out last, or the paperback novel. So you have basically three options to get them, and typically the paperback novels are much more readily available and easier to get. And I think for most people, if they're more concerned with actually just reading them, the paperback is the way to go. But if you're like a kind of mild collector and you appreciate the books themselves, you go with the hardback. And then if you're an actual collector, not really planning on cracking the book open and reading it, that's where those special editions come in. So while this week doesn't have a ton of releases, I think the quality of those releases is top-notch. Definitely looking forward to the big characters coming out here, and looking forward to the community being able to really get their hands on these things in mass. Obviously, they were very limited on the initial releases. We saw the Lion sell out very quickly in his like special bundle with the Blade Guard veteran, and there was a little bit of speculation on where the price would actually be, but I was pretty confident that he would come out at the same price as Guilliman, another Primarch, or like Abaddon, or some of the other like appropriately equally sized models. And honestly, I think this is one of my favorite models of all time. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the options on it, and his rules are really cool as well. So definitely going to be adding him to my Dark Angels. And same thing goes for Commander Farsight. Absolutely love this model. The old Commander Farsight was cool, but couldn't even light a candle to this one. The amount of detail put into this model, the poses, and the actual like base and everything just takes this to the next level. And this dude is going to be the linchpin of any army. And if you're like me, the best thing about Tau is just how cool like the suits are and everything, and the kind of Gundam style. And if there's one model that kind of like embodies what the Tau should be, or what I picture when I think of Tau, it is definitely this Farsight model. So very happy to see him coming out even slightly cheaper than what I was expecting. I honestly thought he would come out at $70, right in line with the others. But very, very cool, and very glad to see that the community is finally going to be able to get their hands on him. And while Farsight is definitely a lot less popular because it's only used in like some smaller Tau armies, I think most people want one for either display or for their collection. So while I do expect these models to be super popular, I don't think we're going to see the crazy kind of like issues that we had before, with people scalping them for ridiculous prices and everything, as they will be permanently added to the range. So even if we do see another initial sellout event, it should just be a matter of time before they're back in stock and readily available. So let me know what you're going to be picking up this week. I am definitely going to be picking up all of the special characters. Definitely looking forward to getting a hold of them and getting them all painted up. Always like to hear back from you guys who you're most excited about, or if you've already been able to get a hold of these characters and got them painted up. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description if you want to pick up any of these models. Save 15% with free shipping in the United States. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.